Hi guys, John McTaggart here again. Today, as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about something that's going to be a mainstay on this channel because I love it and I recommend everybody gives it a shot. We're going to talk about film. So today we're going to take a look at a camera that I have really only had for maybe about a month now, maybe a little bit longer, but it's a Leica M4-2. It's not an M4, it's not an M4P, it's the M4-2. Many people believe that this camera actually saved Leica as a whole, certainly saved the M line of cameras. The M5 was sort of a disaster for Leica, and they seriously considered pulling production of all the M-series cameras at that time. So the CEO actually came up with an idea to make this version of it, the M4-2. And this one, the vast majority of them were made in Canada. And the whole point was to make it cheaper to produce. And so what Leica did was change a few things on here. They instead of the engraving on the very top that you see in the M2, M3s, and the M4s, this one actually has a stamp that says lights on there. I really don't notice a difference. I have an M6, or I've had an M6 in the past. They also changed the vulcanite to kind of a cheaper plastic. This I do notice, to tell you the truth, from what I've had when I've handled M3s and M2s as well as the M6. This does have a cheaper feel to it, I will admit. Another thing that they said that they did was make the parts less adjustable. It's sort of if it's right or replace it, instead of having tweaks and adjustments to the nth degree, which is something that you find in the M2s, M3s, M4s. Leica said that it basically made for a more reliable and a stronger constructed camera. Some Leica purists would disagree with that. And you know, to tell you the truth, this thing works like a champ. It was made in 1979. They made these for, I think, 77 to 1980. And there really weren't a whole lot of them made. They came up with an M4P following this. And there are a few more of those. The paint job's a little bit different. Admittedly, it doesn't probably wear as well, meaning the patina or the wearing away doesn't quite look as attractive as you would find maybe on a black paint or a black M2 or whatever. It isn't quite that appealing, but that's a very small cosmetic thing. It has the shutter dial up here, like all Leicas do. The advance lever, it's a single stroke. Rangefinder patch, of course. It's got the M6 style rewind knob and M4 style rewind knob. The only difference really between this and the regular M4, aside from the things that I mentioned, is this has a hot shoe and it's also ready for a motor drive. A lot of these, in fact, you can find them with the drive. I don't really need it. It's a big bulky thing that hangs on the bottom, and part of what I love about this camera is the stealthiness of it. It's extremely quiet. You can hear, there's no film in here, so you can hear it. That's pretty much it. Line, shoot, walk away. It's a great camera, wonderful, wonderful camera. And no matter what, it's still a Leica. And for those of you who don't really have any experience with a Leica, I'm big on value with my photography gear now, and this is the best value in the Leica M-series line film cameras. These can be found for $600. I actually paid $500 for this one not that long ago. I traded some stuff in, got it for $500, and it's what would be considered a user model. There's some paint chips here and there, but mechanically it's beautiful. Works like a champ. The shutter speeds are dead on. Curtain looks good. It's a really well-built camera, despite the fact that they say it's a little bit cheaper made. I'm not sure that I really buy into that, and I think we'll probably have to wait about 30 years to figure that out or find that out. It's a great deal, and it is a Leica body. There's no doubt. There's a feel to them. There's a weight to them that's completely unique, and it's almost like it's an experience to shoot with a Leica. It really is. Whether you be an M6, an M2, an M3, M4, anything along the line of their film M-series bodies, they're dynamite. The lenses are extremely expensive. There's also some good third-party lenses. In fact, in a later episode, we're going to take a look at a Voigtlander 35, which is actually what's on this camera right now. It's a f2.5 lens called a Color Scopar. It's a really good lens for, I think, $400. I have a 50mm Summicron that cost me a lot more than that. And to tell you the truth, I'm not sure that I noticed that much of difference. There is a little bit of difference. The glass for Leicas are amazing. There's no doubt about that. But if you're trying to get an excellent picture from a budget type lens to put on your body, there's really nothing wrong with that. But we'll get into that in another episode. We're going to take a closer look at those. So I hope you enjoy the following images actually taken with this camera. And you can get kind of an idea of what you're working with. And it's a rangefinder style, like I said, so you look through the viewfinder and you line up the images basically, and that's when you know that it's in focus. That takes some getting used to for those of you that aren't used to shooting rangefinders, Leicas especially. This is a fairly bright rangefinder. It's nothing like an M3. And the sight lines on here I think are 35 and 50. I'll have to check on that. 35, 50, and 90, I believe. I have to double check on that, but I'll put a little note at the bottom if I'm wrong. I have a 35 and a 50, so I use them. And when you put the lens on, the patch, rangefinder patch, comes up in the window here, in the rangefinder window, and you can you got to kind of frame your shot according to those lines, which is really a different way of thinking if you're used to shooting with a DSLR or even a film SLR. But I love it. I think the challenge is great. These cameras make you a better photographer. This is totally manual camera. There is no light meter in this, so I have a little app that I use sometimes, but I also use the Sunny 16 rule, which we're also going to get into in another video. And that's really very, very easy to use if you're shooting outside in daylight. But Leica M4-2, pick one up if you can find one. They're extremely reasonably priced for a Leica body, and you know, to me, they're built like a tank, like every Leica is. I can't recommend them any higher. You know, the only downside is you're going to have a less valuable Leica body, but I buy my cameras to use them, not to collect them. So this is a great user Leica M-series body, and I think you're going to enjoy it as much as I do. All right, until the next video, thank you so much, guys. And if you like this video, please hit the like. Any comments below? I'd love to hear from you. Ideas for future episodes you might have, some comments on maybe your experience with this camera, or any others you'd like to see me take a look at. Please put it down in the comments, and subscribe, please. Thanks a lot, guys. Till next time, bye.